Yes, I'm going to unload your mind. And who's going to help me do that? Jorge Rudko. He is going to talk about hacked minds. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
so
you.
tell me, how did this come about? Why did you decide to write a book about this?
Well, that happened about 5 years ago. I got on a plane here in Charlotte on my way to Miami, Florida, in a typical flyer. I travel all over. I wanted to talk to somebody next to me, which was the typical thing to do that time in history. And I noticed that I looked to my right, to my left, in front of me, back, and there was nobody to talk to. Everybody was engaged into their own world. So I noticed that.
When you say own world, they had their devices and all
Absolutely.
that stuff.
It was after the captain said, hey, you can sit back and relax. And in a few minutes, we're going to give you some refreshments and the whole 9 yards, right? So when that happened, everybody pulled out their devices, and I say, I don't really like this. So that was the beginning of observing. Number two, taking notes. The notes became pages, the pages became chapters, and the chapters became the book.
So tell me, what is the danger in falling into the trap? Because that's chapter 2, the trap. What are the dangers of falling into that trap?
Well, the danger is that you create a gap in society with the people that you're hanging out with, including your own family. There is a huge gap that is being created because you build your own virtual world. So you detach yourself from the real one. And when that happens, it really hurts people, their emotions. It really disconnects them. And many times, including separates them, which is really radical. It happens today because of the advance of modern technology and social media. We create such a passionate and such a personal world that I'm begin to be disconnected from my wife.
Yeah, and you were saying that there's a difference. You won't be able to tell the difference between a virtual reality and real life.
That is correct. That is correct, because it's so enticing, and it really feeds you constantly, 24/7. So it takes you to, for instance, social media today. It will take you to a level of, if you are not careful, of having a good meal or a good sexual relationship. It will give you the same pleasure back to your mind. Therefore, if you're totally engaged to a point of addiction, or you're dependent before addiction becomes dependency, then you are in trouble.
Well,
you better stop.
And so how do we get out of trouble? We only have a few seconds. How do we unpack our minds? How we go from a hacked mind to an unpacked mind?
Well, you got to see how much time you can be outside of that environment, from the virtual environment. So you got to take literally the device, put it on top of a table or a counter, and walk away and see how long it takes you to get back to it.
Ooh.
And that will give you the measure of your dependency or addiction, if you are at that level.
That's good. And there's a workbook out here. I like this workbook. And this workbook says, how many digital devices do I have? How many hours per day do I spend online? How many hours per day do I dedicate to social media? So this is some good stuff. So what are people saying? What is the reaction from people getting your book?
Well, it's really interesting, because what I do, I approach people on a regular basis out of the blue. I'm walking down the street, and there is a guy looking down, including a police officer. Sometimes he's paying attention to the social media instead of what he has to do or she has to do. And I say, hey, what is your relationship like with your device? And they look at me like, for the first time, oh my God.
Wow.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So 10 minutes later, we're talking, and the person says, oh my God, that is me. I'm in trouble. I got to do something about it. How do I get out of this?
Oh my good. Well, we're out of time. So they're in trouble. We're out of time. So thank you so much. We're going to unpack our minds. And so we're going to be back right after this. This is all the information. Here's his website, his Facebook, his Instagram, and then we will figure it all out.